independent and dependent values. Okay, before we look at the practice to the side, let's quickly refresh on what each quadrant is and where it's located. So we know quadrant one is positive, positive. Quadrant two goes to the left and up, so it'll be negative and positive. Quadrant three, we go to the left and down, again, making it negative, negative. And then for quadrant four, we go right, which is positive, and then we go down, which is negative. So in that case, it'll be a positive negative. So regardless of whether the number is a positive or a negative, a fraction or a decimal, follow these methods. We know it has to be positive, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative, negative, and positive, negative for each of these quadrants. So let's look at the first one. So we have a negative, negative. So let's look and see which quadrant has a negative, negative. Quadrant three has negative, negative. So therefore, A would be in quadrant three. Let's go ahead. Let's look at B. Positive, negative. Which quadrant has a positive, negative? Quadrant four. Let's quickly look at the others. Negative, positive, and positive, negative, which is quadrant four. Let's continue and talk about independent and dependent values. One thing that we need to know, whenever we're talking about independent, that's going to be my x value. So if we know that x is my independent, then that means we know that y is my dependent. Which could also be called my x coordinate or my y coordinate. Let's quickly refresh the order. We know that x goes first and y comes second. What is the independent value for point B? So first we have to know the ordered pair for point B. So we start in my origin. We don't go left or right, but we do go up. So we already know that my x would be 0 and my y would be 2. Independent means x. So in this case, my x value would be 0. So x is equal to 0, or my independent value is equal to 0. Let's look at the next question. What is the dependent value of point D? Dependent means y, which in this case would be my y coordinate. Let's get the order pair for point D. 5, negative 4. In this case, my y value would be a negative 4. Let's continue. So remember that y coordinate and x coordinate is the same thing as my independent dependent. So in this case, we're just looking for my dependent value. Let's find the ordered pair for C. I go over a negative 4. I don't go up any. So in this case, it hits the y-axis on 0. Y is equal to 0. What is the x-coordinate of point E? Again, we're just stating where does E hit the x-axis? At a negative 2. So in this case, my independent value or my x-coordinate will equal to a negative 2. Good job. I will leave you with some practice to try independently. Here you will plot your point, be able to